But my question is regarding these rain gardens that we are having imposed on us. I'd like to know your aspect and attitude about them and whether you consider them safe for the neighborhood, especially seniors, children, and other people who come into the neighborhood that may not know they're there. Thank you.
Delegate Pickering first.
Actually, I've represented some of the ladies who were opposing these. They're dangerous to seniors. They're deep. They're dangerous in the dark. They breed mosquitoes. They're dangerous to pets. They're dangerous to kids. And we've opposed them because they're being imposed on people who don't want them, and I am opposed to them.
Councilmember Eldridge.
So I believe you normally refer to these as the pits of death. So I got a presentation the other day, and I've got to say that the pictures that I saw were radically different from the pictures I've been shown about what these things are supposed to look like. And I have to say I am very concerned about the space between curbs and the ditches, and what happens at night, what happens to people who are unstable in gait, and I see issues with this. What I'd like to do, because I think one of the things people pointed out is nobody's done an analysis of what are the greatest sources of stormwater, and are we treating the greatest sources of stormwater? All this stuff is expensive, and if we're not sure that we're putting the investment at the greatest place, then I'm not sure we're having the most effect. And I think a lot of you have pointed out, and you've asked me, why is the sea of concrete that binds Connecticut Avenue, why are all the owners down there exempt from dealing with the issue and all the problem being put on homeowners? So I would be more than willing to look at this far more in depth than we have.
Mr. Blair.
This issue's, when my wife and I moved into our home in Rockville several years ago, we were right next to, you have a pit of death? And we had little kids and that couldn't swim. They were like 2 and 3 years old, and we were scared to death. And so I think we need to look at solutions that are safe for all residents, not just my little kids, but everybody in the community.
Mayor Krasno.
So stormwater management is one of those things I've been working with for 30 years, starting with my activity with my own homeowners association, because unfortunately we thought it was a blessing. We have a little lake that used to be dredged like a farm pond, but now they've decided it's this great environmental danger. It's costing us hundreds of thousands of dollars to take care of it. And stormwater management practices keep evolving. And I used to say we call them best management practices because it's the best we have at the moment. And I don't like the current best practices. The problem with rain gardens in many cases is that they are on private land. People do not know how to maintain them. So in fact, they're going to be not worth the money that we paid to have them put in, because they're just going to fill up in so many ways. So I am looking forward to moving on. We need stormwater management, there's no question about it, but we need to find better ways than the rain gardens that are now on private land and not being maintained.
Councilmember Berlin.
So I'm lead for environment and have worked on this issue for a long time. It is one of the most unsatisfying conversations we have with people. Let me clear the record though. It only exists on public property in which people have come to use the property as their own, but it is actually county property. And why are people urging us to do this work? Because the old-fashioned way actually rushes water through and creates more problems for the Chesapeake Bay and others. So if we can use natural processes to absorb the water before it gets into the system, that's a plus. Now, is it being implemented in a perfect way? Obviously not. But the concept behind it is actually very sound and one that we ought to try and bring about. So I just say to you, we have work to do with respect to this, but it is based on a sound environmental policy.
Councilmember Levin.
I am sorry that our Department of Environmental Protection has not assuaged some of the anxiety. I'm also sorry that some of the candidates here have exacerbated the anxiety. There is no need whatsoever for children to know how to swim in relation to the use of the county right-of-way to absorb water. So that was really an exaggerated statement. My campaign director had a Green Street project on her street, and everyone on her street is absolutely delighted with the way that it works, with the way that the curbs were redesigned, with the way that the plantings were done. It is important that residents understand if there are concerns about pedestrians tripping or elderly folks, those absolutely need to be addressed. I have offered to help, and I will continue to try to bring residents together with the Department of Environmental Protection so that residents' concerns can be heard and addressed. But friends, these are not pits of death. They just are not. They're an effort to prevent erosion. They're an effort to prevent the diminution of water quality so that we can all live healthy in a safe and healthy environment. So we've got to work towards that goal together.
Very good. I think we've got